Prakash ji. Ravi Prakash Chaubey ji is a like our Sahishnu Bhattacharya ji that I was mentioning. Ravi Prakash Chaubey ji is also an ambidextrous Sabyasachi scholar. He practices Paurohitya while having PhD. He has got a contemporary university style methodologically trained education. At the same time, he did not give up his Paurohitya practice. He lives his traditional life in a traditional style. Once, actually, one of the INDICA members who hails from Odisha but lives in Sweden, she was in need of a Purohita of her Veda Shakha. And at that time, when she approached me to find a Purohita of her Veda Shakha, I was going all around, and finally, Sahishnu ji guided me to Ravi Prakash ji only. He helped our Sumedha Verma Oja ji by performing Paurohitya for her ritual. Then I was amazed. See, he is such a wonderful modern scholar with PhD, and he knows how to methodologically present his arguments, but continuing his Paurohitya practice and sadhana and everything in such a meticulousness. I was amazed. And today we have that opportunity of having Dr. Ravi Prakash Chaubey ji, and I thought he would be taking some Purohita related topics, but he told me that he is going to talk about the criticism of death of Sanskrit that is proposed by Indologists like Professor Sheldon Pollock. Dr. Ravi Prakash Chaubey ji, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Paturi sir. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Gurudeo Maheswara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namaskar. A warm greetings to all of you. My topic is a Shaastric counter to the ideas of death of Sanskrit. So there are so much misconceptions about Sanskrit. So first of all, we have to know that Sanskrit is not just a language. It is a vast river of knowledge and cultural heritage. So what do we mean by the Sanskrit knowledge tradition? So let us first look the word tradition. What does it tell? So the tradition itself is param piparti iti parampara. What is parampara? So tradition basically represents the sociological aspect of continuity in culture, bridging past, present, and future. So it is something which is just conjugated with the past, present, as well as with the future. Basically, it developed through four theoretical branches: spiritual, historical, socio-cultural, and literary or aesthetics. Often confined to the past, tradition is wrongfully perceived as static, irrelevant, and without a future. But let me tell you something, that a Vedic goddess comes, that is Usha, and she is termed as the Purani Yuvati. So what is Purani Yuvati? So we have to understand this terminology, that she is old, but she is also in her youthful stage. So one that is old, the same entity is also new. So Puranam concept also signifies this concept, that Puranamam bhavati iti Puranam. So Purani Yuvati. So Purani Yuvati, she is old, as well as she is also in her youthful stage. So basically, what happened with the Sanskrit knowledge tradition? So colonial influence contributed to misconception, aiming to divide India's vibrant consciousness into past and present. So we are thinking in the terms of past and the present, and the present. We sometimes it has been told that the India was सोने की चिड़िया, but now it has lost all its glorious empirical everything. So the problem is that we have to understand what are the misconceptions behind this. So there comes a story in the Panchatantra. What is the story? With this story, I will just tell what happened with the India. So story is the story stands off with a Brahmin carrying a goat on his shoulder, gifted to him by a rich merchant for fulfilling his priestly duty. The Brahmin is tricked by three thugs into leaving the goat on the streets for the fear that goat is actually a dog, not a goat. This happens when all three thugs question the Brahmin for carrying a dog on his shoulder. Being a Brahmin, he must not carry an unclean animal like a dog with himself. So we must understand a lie repeated 1,000 times seems like a truth. So we must have immense faith and confidence in ourselves and must not be affected by the external influences. What happened? When English people came here, they repeatedly used to tell that we Indians have no such kind of wisdom. They are superior to us, and we are so much inferior. Before imbibing those things, we did not understand that Vayam Amritasya Putraha. So we just lost the identity. They have repeatedly spoke that you have so much inferior in knowledge and tradition in comparison to us, and we believed in that. So this story just gives a moral to us that we have firm belief in our tradition. Vayam Amritasya Putra. A lot of things has been done by the seers, by our Krant Darsina Kavi, and we have just forgotten all those things only by the sayings of the other people. So we should have belief in ourselves, and this is the main thing we have to always keep in mind. So European colonization extended beyond geography. We have to understand they have targeted they have targeted not only the geography, but they have just impacted our mind system. They have encapsulated a lot of things in our mind that you are inferior, you don't have any civilizations. Such kind of things are repeatedly given by them to us, and unfortunately, for some extent, we have imbibed and we have just thought that no, this they are saying right thing, and we have just thought and we have implemented that things upon our mind. So division of India's identity into past and present was a deliberate strategy to undermine its cultural unity. So everywhere you see that this is the Indian philosophy, this is the Western philosophy. They are used to see everything in the binary position. It is not like that Advait is there. Philosophy is something which cannot be distributed into India's or past, Eastern or Western. So India also cannot be divided that India's past was glorious and now India has lost its glory. And this kind of notion has already given by the Victorian people, by the English people, and somehow we have imbibed and we have just thought that no, they are saying the right things. So everything big has been done in the past, and this kind of impression has been printed on our mind. Even today, lots of Indians thought that no, India have a glorious past, but now India has lost its glorious past. Or this kind of notion has been given by the English people. So basically, at this point, we have to observe closely what's the problem. I have already told you that story, and let's just correlate that story to this thing that they have repeatedly told these things, and we somehow convinced that thing into us. So I am just talking about the parampara. So parampara is basically not a static thing. Parampara comprises four things. One is contraction, second one is the expansion, third one is the reinterpretation, and fourth one is the rejection. So parampara always comprises these four things one by one. In brief, I will tell you what is contraction, expansion, reinterpretation, and rejection. So, what is contraction? So, contraction is something, suppose in the past time it was so elaborative, so exhaustive that you cannot read or you cannot go through that the voluminous text of the past. So what parampara did? Parampara has shortened that text or shortened that all those things which are so much voluminous. For example, Natya Shastra was of 12,000 slokas was there in the Natya Shastra. But after some time, Parampara has just concluded 12,000 slokas into 6,000 slokas. So this kind of contraction is always been practiced in the Parampara, and Parampara deliberately use this in his thing. So the second one is the expansion. We all know that time changes, and time changes. With the time changing, a lot of things changes. So the rules which are relevant in the past is not relevant today. We have seen that a lot of amendments has been done in the constituent thing. So the the thing is, we have to we have to take all those changes in accordance with the time. So parampara also used to do these things. So expansion. What do we mean by expansion? So we parampara adopts a new realities while preserving the core values. Preserving core values is essential to the parampara, but after preserving core values, it also expands. It gives something new to that core values, and this is the expansion. You have seen the movie Genius. Genius. I think it came in the year of 2018, where a priest used to take admission in the science college, and with the attire of the monk, with the attire of the pandit, he performed well, and the other students got surprised what he is doing here. So we are so much assumed that monks or priests are just associated with the Purohit things, with the Brahmanical things, but it is not the case. Parampara always just expands its territory in order to define the new things in the present era. So the third is the reinterpretation. This is so much important. What is reinterpretation? So everything. We have four Vedas: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sam Veda, and Atharva Veda. But reinterpretation is actually what we are reinterpreting the Vedas mantra in different norms. First of all, see, Sayana has defined the Vedic mantras, and after that, Arvind Ghosh had defined the Vedic mantras. So Vedic mantra has been defined in so many ways. So what is this? This is the reinterpretation. So there is a mantra Chatvari Sringa Trayuvasya Pada, and you all know that a lot of meanings has been deciphered from this mantra with different lens, with different views. So what is this? This is the reinterpretation of the parampara. So reinterpretation of the things which are giving one meaning at the same time, the other meaning at the same time. So the parampara always comprise these things. So parampara reinterprets the old notions, and it gives a new it gives a new dimension and to it. The fourth one is the rejection of the absolute element. So a lot of things which are timely means something which are so much important in the past, and now there is no use of following those norms. So parampara always vanish those outdated norms also. In the Chandogya Upanishad, Rishi used to tell his people what yani tani suchaitani tani tvaya upastyani no itarani. So what is good, you have to invite those good things, not the bad things, irrespective of your guru or your teacher told that things to you. So yani tani suchaitani tani tvaya upastyani no itarani. And this always happens with the parampara. So those outdated things which are relevant to the past, if they are not relevant to today's era or today's scenario, they are outdated, and parampara used to eliminate those things in his territory. You should know कि Mahamahopradhyay P.V. Kane has just given 55 things which are outdated in the Kali Yuga. So the 55 customs which are so much relevant in the past, they have outdated, and P.V. Kane has just shown that no, in the Kali Yuga, these 55 customs should not be practiced. So what this thing shows that parampara always used to vanish those outdated things. So these four things always happens with the Sanskrit knowledge tradition, and we must could understand that Sanskrit knowledge tradition is also a ongoing process. It comprises all these four: the contraction, expansion, reinterpretation, and rejection of the absolute elements. So now we come to the main point, that the decline of Sanskrit knowledge tradition, how much truth and how much myth. So as Paturi sir emphasized that Sheldon Pollock in his book The Death of Sanskrit has given so many things about that Sanskrit is dying language, and a lot of factors have given by him. So I would just take those things into consideration and give my points upon it, and we will see that the decline of Sanskrit knowledge tradition, it is a truth or it is a myth. How much truth and how much it is a myth. So I am just quoting Sheldon Pollock identified four factors contributing to the decline of Sanskrit. What are the four factors? Let me tell you. I am just yeah. Fourth, I am just quoting from his book Death of Sanskrit, page number 394. So he wrote, four cases are especially instructive. The disappearance of Sanskrit literature in Kashmir, a premier center of literary creativity, after the 13th century. Its diminished power in 16th century Vijayanagara, the last great imperial formation of southern India. Its short-lived moment of modernity at the Mughal court in the mid-17th century, Delhi, and its ghostly existence in Bengal on the eve of colonialism. So there are four factors given by the Sheldon Pollock, that these are the factors which show that Sanskrit is dying, or Sanskrit somehow is become dead like language. And moreover, in page number 396, he wrote, within 50 years, the creative Sanskrit literary culture of Kashmir has disappeared. The production of literature in all of the major genres, courtly, epic, drama, and the rest, ceased entirely, and the vast repertory of Sanskrit literary forms was reduced to the Strota hymn. So let's take these things into the consideration. So these are observations. I may not say that these are incorrect, but correct to the some extent. these are the things, these are the points which are correct, but in 360-degree, when we see these things, so we know that these are not correct to the total, in totality. So let's see what is the case of Sanskrit knowledge tradition. One reputed person is Radha Vallabh Tripathi. He had done so much research on this. So he refutes the idea that Sanskrit scholarship has declined over the centuries. He emphasized that the 19th and 20th century Sanskrit scholarship adopted new forms that have not been adequately recognized. Scholars like Madhusudan Ojha and Ramavatar Sharma must be highlighted. Integral links in the illustrious tradition to the thinkers like Kanad, Kapil, and Gautama. So a lot of scholars are there in the Sanskrit knowledge traditions which are of 19th and 20th century. They have done a wonderful job, and they just not uh, they just not highlighted the main Sanskrit themes, but also incorporated so many new things and new norms in the Sanskrit knowledge traditions. I have already given two names, Madhusudan Oja and Ramavatar Sharma. They are the great scholarship in the Sanskrit knowledge tradition. These modern scholars not only preserved the accumulated knowledge, but also introduced new dimension and interpretation, enriching the tradition further. While the advent of technology may have reduced the physical necessity of manuscript, a new generation of committed scholars is emerging. So basically, what is there to see that the new scholars, new Sanskrit scholars, their attire has been changed. They are the whatever they are wearing, they are showing. These things have been changed, but somehow they have imbibed the core values of the Sanskrit knowledge traditions, and they are carrying it forward. So we have to think it, and we have to know that they are the scholars in the modern attire, in the modern situation, but they have the capacity, they have the capability to enrich the Sanskrit knowledge tradition. So these scholars, equipped with a deep understanding of ancient texts, are making meaningful interventions in contemporary society. Uh, since independence only, more than 3,000 Sanskrit texts have been authored, and these 3,000 texts are comprising of different genres. Some texts are just defining the dowry system, means whatever the present norms are there, all those present norms are defined and just presented in these Sanskrit books. So Sanskrit books are not something which are always defining the old things, that what is there in the Veda, what is there in the Purana and the Upanishad. They are the treatise, the modern treatise, which are going to give so much knowledge in the whatever going in the present day scenario. So the dowry system and whatever is going in the present scenario, they are going deep and delve deeper in those things, and they are just describing those things in it. So Sanskrit knowledge was not isolated from movements like the Renaissance, Enlightenment, and religious reforms. So whatever the Renaissance or the other movements have been happened, Sanskrit always play a pivotal role in describing those moments, those activism. So Sanskrit is not something which is related to the Karma Kanda, which is related only to the Brahmanvada. Sanskrit is a knowledge which is just repository of each and everything which are happening in today's society. So either we talk about the Renaissance or Enlightenment or religious reform, Sanskrit has a pivotal role in all those movements. So Simona Sahni wrote a book. The name of the book is The Modernity of Sanskrit. There, she identified three distinct roles played by the Sanskrit literature in modernity. So the first one is influence or modern theater. So we all know that theater is a major part, and theater Indian theater from the beginning plays a crucial role in shaping the societal norms. Also, you can say so. Influence Sanskrit has major influence on modern theater. So whatever we are seeing in the modern theater, it is somehow taking some vibes or some things from the Sanskrit theater or Sanskrit knowledge, Sanskrit aesthetic system. The second one is the colonial critique. So Paturi sir was just describing what happened after the colonialism. We are supposed to think on the other way. We are every time seeing the things through the lens of the Westerners. We are not seeing ourselves what we were, and every time that we have in our mind that they are the superior, we are the inferior. We have to imbibe and imitate the things given and propounded by them. Even many scholars of India used to highlight and used to cite many names from the Western scholarship, and they do not refer the Indian names and Indian authors. A lot of scholarship always happened in the India, but they always used to cite the Western scholars. What is this? This is somehow showing that we are so much influenced with the ideas propounded or given by them. We are seeing the things through the lens of them. So the colonial critique is also happening to the Sanskrit. Sanskrit literature became a lens for critiquing European literary and philosophical traditions while reaffirming Indian heritage. So, in addition to this, many Indologists from America are also doing the same things. They are seeing the Indian text, Indian Sanskrit text, in different view other than the Western British people. So they have somehow understood more, and they have understand the depth of the Sanskrit text, and accordingly they have defined the Sanskrit text. The third one is the timeless relevance. So the classical text continually unveil new meanings, making them a part of a evolving cultural discourses. So a lot of Akar granthas are there, Ramayana, Mahabharata, or a lot of granthas are there. They are just giving a lot of interpretations. So many authors of today's era, they are taking something from that, and they are defining in modern context. So you have already seen a lot of text on based on the Ramayana and Mahabharata are coming in the present era, and they are taking source from the Akar Grantha, Ramayana, Mahabharata. So the Sanskrit has a lot of texts like this, and the modern or the future generation will take a lot of things and will and it Sanskrit text has a timeless relevance. So I just told you the three main roles played by the Sanskrit literature in modernity. So ancient text can be interpreted for different lengths. So I have already told you that Gita has many bhashya. Tilak has defined it somehow, Gandhi has defined it somehow, and still the interpretations of Gita is happening. A lot of translations has been already done, but the still translation of the text is continuing. So what did this shows? This shows the relevance of a text. If the text is not relevant, then why the translations is still happening? Hundreds of translations has been done of Abhijñāna-Śākuntalam, but still the translation of Abhijñāna-Śākuntalam is being carried away. So this shows the relevance of the text. So we have to understand and we have to enrich our thinking we have to enlargen our horizons to understand that those texts in Sanskrit. So, for example, Simona Sahani interprets the Bhagavad Gita not merely as a spiritual text, but as one with political and historical dimension, emphasizing detachment, surrender, devotion within a socio-political framework. So, this is just an example. So, a lot of scholars are doing the same thing. They are taking the old text and they are just interpreting it in new thinking processes. So, scholars like Govind Chandra Pandey have reinterpreted Sanskrit theatre of beauty using Vedant and Abhinav Gupta's philosophical framework. So a lot of frameworks are also been there. So use that framework and incorporate that framework to some particular text, and you can define it in your own way. So this kind of strategy you can always follow as a scholar. So, Marxist interpretation of Sanskrit aesthetics by Brahmanand Sharma highlighted the adaptability of Sanskrit tradition to the contemporary ideology. A lot of people used to tell that this is Marxism, Sanskrit has nothing to do with the Marxism, but Brahmanand Sharma is the scholar. We who interpreted the Sanskrit norms and Sanskrit traditions in Marxist view. They have shown that no, Sanskrit is also has adaptability of Marxism, and he has shown it and highlighted the adaptability of Sanskrit traditions to contemporary ideologies. IIT like Kharagpur, Gandhinagar, and Delhi have incorporated Sanskrit knowledge systems into their curricula, and IIM also did and used the Sanskrit knowledge traditions is is going to enter IIM, IIT, and is just broadening its canvas to the other institutions also. GISTNIC, General Information System, Terminal and National Informatics Center in Hyderabad has created a database classifying Sanskrit text into 10 primary and 10 subcategories for easy reference. Sanskrit has so many manuscripts which are under consideration. They are in just in sleeping condition. So in order to understand the Sanskrit knowledge traditions, we have to just go through those crores of manuscripts. So GISTNIC is doing very well, and it's created a database classifying Sanskrit texts into 10 primary and 10 subcategories for easy reference. So T. Ganpati Shastri in the 13th century had done a marvelous job. Him, before him, nobody was known to the Bhasa, but the 13th treatise has come out, and then we came to know about that Bhas exists, and Bhas was a great scholar. So this kind of knowledge and this kind of many things are engrossed in those manuscripts, and we have to go through those manuscripts in order to understand our territory or our tradition and the Sanskrit knowledge. Uh, Sanskrit Sanskrit is not only limited to India. Sanskrit is taught in the prestigious universities such as Oxford and the Harvard. In Germany alone, Sanskrit is studied and taught in 14 universities. Uh, the notion of the decline of Sanskrit knowledge system is more myth than reality. Sanskrit influence has not only persisted but also expanded both within India and globally. This timeless tradition, embodying a harmonious blend of ancient wisdom and modern insights, continues to offer profound solutions to contemporary challenges and enriches the global intellectual landscapes. The Sanskrit knowledge tradition, far from being a relic of the past, is a dynamic and evolving treasure trove. By revisiting and revitalizing this tradition, we stand to unlock transformative possibilities or the future. So always remember this, Vayam Amritasya Putra. And when we when we delve deeper into the Sanskrit knowledge tradition, then we can understand how much rich and how much rich tradition it is. And it is even today is giving so much wise and so much things to the present society. uh, Actually, we are like a fish in the water, and we do not realize that water is there incorporating us. So so Sanskrit is something which is not seen in the practice, but somehow if you realize deeply, then you will understand Sanskrit Sanskrit, you are incorporated with the Sanskrit knowledge tradition everywhere. The Lok Parampara is imbibed a lot of things from the Sanskrit literature. So some Sanskrit is something which is giving water to the Lok Parampara also. So everywhere there is the practice of Sanskrit knowledge tradition. Thank you so much. I am just finishing my talk here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ravi Prakash Chaubey ji, for caring to respond to the allegations by Professor Sheldon Pollock in his article, Death of Sanskrit. You gave wonderful examples of how Sanskrit is actually adaptive to new situations, and how it has done that adaptation even after the cutoff date given by Professor Sheldon Pollock. The cutoff date given by him is 1800.
1850. Yes.
So after 1800 also, how many new adaptations have come? How much of new thought has come? You have wonderfully shown various examples. There are no questions concerning this particular topic. The question is completely a digression. The question that is typed in question and answer box is Ayurveda is being taught in regional languages, English everywhere in India. All the literature reference material available is in Sanskrita. What can be done to revive this? This is a completely digressing question. So, because it is not relevant to your topic, we need not take up that question. Thank you very much, Ravi Prakash Chaubey.
Thank you, Patul sir. Thank you.